Picking up city volunteers in Taiwan's Hualien pack relief items to deliver to their care recipients. A group of volunteers built a trail along Taidong Sanyuan Beach to safeguard our environment and wildlife. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. First up, in Taiwan, Tzuji's winter relief distribution has been ongoing for 45 years and has become an invaluable aid for families in need. In Hualien, 140 volunteers gathered at the Jingsi abode to ready 1,350 supply packs, which were later delivered to Tzuji care recipients.
Early morning at Hualien's Jingsi abode, 140 volunteers have come together to prepare 1,350 Chinese New Year winter relief packages. Since contracting rectal cancer, Lin Nancai has learned to cherish life and decided to become a volunteer.
It's wonderful to be a volunteer. It makes me happy. Also, we help to improve the lives of others.
Once the supplies are ready, volunteers immediately deliver them to the home of Tzuji care recipients.
There are over a dozen various items inside a relief package, such as items for the Chinese New Year, daily necessities, cookies and noodles. We have thought this through.
Tzuji's timely assistance brings a woman who relies on her husband's meager income to raise their two children to tears.
With my husband's salary alone, we are unable to pay for his tuition. You have helped us out so much and alleviated our burdens.
The packages are sent out before Chinese New Year, so that when the holiday arrives, everyone can enjoy the festivities without worries.
Moving to China, in Chaoshan of Guangdong, we joined Tzuji volunteers who held their fifth winter aid distribution in Puning City, while their counterparts in Nanjing of Fujian held distributions in 6 towns and townships. Putting on their Tzuji volunteers' face, over 70 employees led by their Taiwanese boss are taking part in Tzuji's winter aid distribution, as they have done so for the past few years.
I'm really happy to give a little of myself to help others.
To be able to lend a helping hand feels great.
I realize we are better off than a lot of people.
To encourage his employees to give, entrepreneur Chen Yongmao set an example by arriving at the distribution venue to help serve the local residents.
Through participating in such events, our employees find stability in their lives as well. Our staff are compassionate and we are like one family. Having witnessed poverty, they have learned to be grateful and count their blessings.
Tzuji has held winter aid distributions in Nanjing for 5 consecutive years, thanks to the help of local officials as well as the Nanjing County Charity Federation.
I would like to express my gratitude to the Tzuji Foundation in Taiwan. Thanks to the Master for cultivating so many volunteers in giving selflessly to help Nanjing.
Tzuji volunteers are distributing aid in 6 towns and townships of Nanjing this year, helping nearly 3,000 families. Grandma Jiang, though over 70 years of age, arrived early to meet the volunteers.
Every Chinese New Year, we feel the love of the Taiwanese people. The Tzuji Foundation is really kind in helping the needy.
Knowing that these relief items will go a long way in helping local residents, one volunteer even gives up her honeymoon to join the distribution.
Every time I take part in an aid distribution, I gain so much in return.
Both residents and volunteers find joy and love through the distribution and look forward to their next meeting. Walking into the home of their care recipients in Guangdong's Chaoshan, what welcomes the volunteers is not a depressed man, but a bright Chen Yiliang. With his positive mindset, Chen's life did not hit rock bottom 11 years ago after falling off the building. Now the man works on handicrafts to help share his family's financial burden.
Thank you. My wife really had it tough over the years.
Volunteers are deeply moved by the couple's love for one another despite their hardship, as many handicapped live in Lihu town of Puning City. Volunteers work to ensure all the needy receive necessary assistance. Volunteers from near and far all do what they can to make the distribution possible and deliver relief items to a total of 442 families.
We left home at 5 this morning because it takes 2 hours to get here.
I moved 3 times already so I could take part in Tzu Chi's events.
I'm delighted helping others brings us joy, so I'm really happy.
The weather may be cold, but volunteers and residents alike are surrounded by Tzu Chi's warmth and love. Moving to Malaysia, ongoing downpours in Sarawak on New Year's Eve triggered flash floods in Bintulu, affecting even high-lying suburban areas. As city volunteers in Sarawak were limited in number, their counterparts from 6 other regions soon mobilized to assist affected residents in the disaster area.
In the photo, floodwaters are almost as high as the roof of the car. The town of Bintulu in Sarawak was ravaged by the worst flooding in decades. Local residents were totally caught off guard.
Those affected by the disaster like us need care the most. That's why Tzu Chi moves us deeply. In fact, there isn't much that we ask for.
Nothing warms the hearts of disaster survivors more than the genuine care of volunteers. For 3 consecutive days, Tzu Chi volunteers distributed consolation cash at Sebi Primary, helping a total of 278 families.
I was very touched when I received the consolation cash. There are actually those who are of different ethnicities and religions that care for our situation.
Had Tzu Chi volunteers not come here, we would have been worse off. I can't believe that some volunteers traveled long distances to come here.
When disaster strikes, help comes from all quarters. Tzu Chi volunteers from Sabah, Kenangau and Sandakan, some having to travel 2 hours by car and others having to transit twice by plane, insisted on coming to help the suffering residents.
We should take this as a learning experience. Hence, in the event of a disaster, we would all have a clear direction as to what to do.
As natural disasters are becoming ever more frequent and more destructive in magnitude, men should ever more so hold nature and our planet in reverence.
The recent cold front that hits the eastern half of the United States has left some passengers stranded at airports as their flights have been cancelled. Among those affected was an international student from Taiwan, Cai Jiazhen, who was traveling to Miami via New York. Luckily, her travel agent in Taiwan, who happened to be a Tzu Chi volunteer, contacted the local residents to provide necessary assistance. Let's take a look.
The cold temperatures that have hit New York has shut down much of the city. The John F. Kennedy International Airport is no exception, with many flights canceled.
We were in a connecting flight from Miami to Toronto, and yesterday we arrived here at like 5 o'clock in the evening, and we've been stuck here since then.
Among the stranded travelers is an international student from Taiwan who was heading to Miami but was left stuck at JFK.
We are going to pick up a young girl stranded at the airport.
This time I just wore canvas shoes and a pair of jeans or summer clothes. When I went outside to try find a cab, I was freezing.
Thankfully, the young girl received assistance from some helpful Tzu Chi volunteers.
Honestly, I didn't know whom to turn to, so I called my travel agent, and she happened to be a Tzu Chi volunteer.
Cai Jiazhen's travel agent in Taiwan asked New York Tzu Chi volunteers for help. Thus, those in New York brought the young girl back to a volunteer's home to stay until flights resumed, and even found warm clothes for her to wear. Besides suiting her up in warm clothes, volunteers also took Cai to the nearby liaison office for a meal. As it turns out, Tai studied at Tzu Chi Junior High in Hualien, and this encounter brought her back into the arms of Tzu Chi once again.
Ecological engineering is to build while minimizing the impact on ecosystems. At the pristine Sanyuan Beach in Taiwan's Taidong, to minimize the impact tourists have on the environment, a group of volunteers decided to build a trail safe for both tourists and local wildlife. Here's more.
Early in the morning, several residents from Fushan Village in Taidong's Beinan Township are already getting to work.
We first organize our tools. We will start working on the beach later.
This is Sanyuan Beach. It neighbors the controversial Miramar Resort, where developers cover the beach's pristine beauty and abundance in marine life. The chance to be up close and personal with fish and crabs has drawn many tourists, who have brought distraction in their wake.
A lot of seaweed grows on top of the coral reefs. However, when tourists come and step on them, they wither and die. We hope that when tourists come to enjoy this area, that they will walk and stay on this trail.
To minimize human interference and promote a harmonious existence between man and nature, local residents formed an organization to protect local marine life. With the support of private funding and the local government, they decided to build an ecological trail.
We push on even when soaked or submerged in water. We pile up the rocks one by one. When the cold front hit a few days ago, it was freezing cold.
The 200-meter-long trail is being built out of rocks found right by the beach instead of concrete. The truth is, including Taiwan's offshore islands, nearly 60% of the country's shorelines are contaminated by concrete structures.
When something hard like concrete is put in place here, the shoreline and landscape will also change accordingly. The beach may disappear. Then where will the wildlife living there go? They might disappear or even become extinct.
Concrete-made structures such as embankments and wave breakers severely disrupt and impair shoreline habitats.
Concrete will weather and is not porous enough. Marine life will not be able to take shelter there. Visually and aesthetically, concrete is not that good either. The best way is to use what's readily available and apply ecological engineering.
Chen Shiyue is familiar with the local ecology and thus know how to build a trail that is ecologically safe. No steel or reinforced concrete is used. Instead, plastic netting bonds the rocks together with pipes inserted to allow passage for marine life.
Look, here it is full of crabs. The crabs are hiding here.
That is exactly the goal of ecological engineering. The association's efforts have rubbed off on local residents and shopkeepers. Han Zhongxin, who runs a coffee van, decides to take action as well.
You cannot pick up the rocks and the seashells here, as this is a conservation area. Don't worry, just put them back.
Han also shows his support by providing free beverages for the association's members. He hopes people can learn to cherish the island's marine resources.
This is a form of education. If people who visit here can come and identify with the concept of conservation and even promote it, then there will be hope for Taiwan.
Will ecological engineering harm the environment? It still will. But you can only choose which method will be the least harmful to the area. That's the direction you have to take.
Taiwan residents are blessed to be surrounded by the ocean. If we can learn to enjoy this gift with respect and gratitude, we can ensure more people and future generations will be able to enjoy them as well.
In Malaysia, on January 5th, the Tzu Chi Klang branch organized a year-end distribution for Chinese care recipients. In addition to delicious meals, Tzu Chi volunteers also prepared various programs for the participants to enjoy.
A lion dance lights up the venue of this year-end celebration in Klang, and the children's eye-catching performance is a first for the participants.
We want them to know that despite their disadvantaged backgrounds, there is someone who loves them. We want them to immerse themselves in the love from Tzu Chi.
With the venue carefully decorated by Tzu Chi, participants feel a festive atmosphere.
The Lunar New Year is still 3 or 4 weeks away, yet the decorations make it seem like we are already celebrating the New Year.
Dialysis patient Tang Wei-Yo underwent amputation surgery last year. He says he's grateful for the care of Tzu Chi volunteers.
Sometimes when I finish my dialysis treatment, no one is there to take me home. Once, a Tzu Chi brother said he could drive me home. Not only did he drive me home, but he also carried me upstairs.
Tzu Chi treats us very well. Thank you very much for tending to us. Whenever we need it, they will provide us with pickup service.
At this festive occasion, the bonds of love between volunteers and recipients have been strengthened, not tied.
Staying in Malaysia, the Tzu Chi Malacca chapter also organized their year-end distribution for care recipients on January 5th. The event was especially meaningful this year as 80% of the care recipients have now become Tzu Chi members or volunteers.
Already a part of the Tzu Chi family, of course it is important to follow in the Tzu Chi volunteers' footprints of love around the world. From former recipient to now Tzu Chi member, volunteers extend their sincerest blessings on behalf of Master Zheng Yan.
Nampak semua ni kan, kalau boleh kita bantu secepat mungkin.
I hope that people of all ethnicity, religions, and race can care for and help one another.
Currently, 80% of Tzu Chi care recipients in Malacca are now Tzu Chi members, with some even becoming certified commissioners.
Thinking of it, I am very blessed. I am more fortunate than others.
I invited my friends and relatives to sign up as Tzu Chi members, and they all agreed to donate 5 ringgit each month.
Attending a Tzu Chi event for the very first time, the director of the Malacca Social Security Organization was amazed by the selflessness of the volunteers.
And even though it's volunteers, they're willing to come and work together. So it's very impressive.
The thunderous clamor of gongs and drums, coupled with an exhilarating lion dance, brings out the joyous atmosphere of the new year. Malacca Tzu Chi volunteers hold a year-end reunion banquet and distribution to celebrate the occasion with their care recipients.
I am delighted to be able to celebrate the new year with so many people.
I am happy because it's my birthday today, and it feels like everyone is celebrating this day with me. It feels great. We can feel the vibe of the new year.
Under the skillful hands of professional hairdressers, care recipients get a new haircut to welcome in the new year.
It looks great. They did a great job.
It's beautiful. I'm impressed. It looks great.
I purchased it at a bargain. You can only find it at Tzu Chi, nowhere else.
On the other side of the venue, many second-hand items are on sale, as participants happily search for items at a bargain price.
We bought everything: clothes, stationery, shoes, and some second-hand uniforms. I have 4 children and they need these items.
I chose 2 skirts for myself. I haven't bought anything in years. I saw something that I liked and it was cheap, so I bought it.
Where there is love, there is enough warmth to fill every corner. These residents are now looking forward to embracing the new year with a joyous heart.
In China's Jiangsu province, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a year-end blessing ceremony at the Tzu Chi Kunshan office, in which over 1,900 participants took part. Next, we find out how the lives of many volunteers have changed since joining Tzu Chi.
Last October, I was scheduled to go through chemotherapy again. Maybe it's because I joined Tzu Chi, but my doctor said I didn't need to do chemo anymore.
Tzu Chi brothers and sisters say thank you. Those two words really touch my heart. I can deeply feel their sincere gratitude.
我们现在地球碳的排放量有1半以上是来自
Right now, over half of the Earth's carbon emissions come from the dairy industry. If each member of the planet can start eating vegetarian food, the amount of carbon emissions will be reduced by 51%. I believe that vegetarianism is the most effective and easiest way to control our carbon footprint.
环保减碳措施。
3位老师，3个区哈？啊，对。所有总共几个竹筒啊？ 我们3个学校的都每个基本上都是3个年级。
As the students donate a little of their love, seeds of kindness are planted in their hearts, where they will take root and flourish.
Back in Taiwan on January 4th in New Taipei City, over 400 Tzu Chi volunteers from various districts gathered at Sansha's Changshou Mountain to give the mountain trails a thorough clean-up.
We are working in the mountains today, so please mind your steps when walking and during cleaning.
After Tzu Chi volunteer, Chen Huoquan's friendly reminder, over 400 volunteers pick up their tools and make their way up to clean. No matter if it's raking up leaves on the sides of the hiking trail or weeding, volunteers attentively get to work.
There are a lot of weeds just like our worries. I was thinking about the Dharma. If we do not tend to it, then weeds will grow in place of it.
Located in New Taipei City's Sansha district, Changshou Mountain is a stomping ground for residents looking to get a breath of fresh air. Up in the mountain is also the Yuanheng Temple, in which resides Dharma Master Yuan Xing, whom has always been supportive of Tzu Chi. Volunteers conduct yearly cleanups to assist the Dharma Master in keeping the surrounding area free from debris and garbage.
We've surveyed the areas that needed cleaning ahead of time. This way we make sure all areas are covered and every area has enough people working on it.
At this year-end cleanup, the most important task is transporting a heavy cast iron incense burner down the mountain for repairs. Overall, it took over 2 hours and over 30 volunteers to complete the task.
After being out in the elements for so long, some painted areas are chipped. After restoring it, we will ask the Tzu Chi brothers to move it back to its original spot.
In a morning of cleaning, volunteers not only cleared away dust in their hearts, but also absorbed much wisdom in the process.
We go to China at the end of today's program and join Tzu Chi volunteers in Shanghai as they held a year-end blessing ceremony at the Jiading recycling station. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.